we're kind of talking during the broadcast that the strikeout is Zobrist that Hoffman got. It might have been the key AB to get his entire game.
First inning?
Yeah, the K with the curve.
Yeah, that was a big one for sure. You know, we jumped out to the lead, and there was just a moment of anxiety, I think, with Jeff out there. Just saw him, a little bit of body language of fidginess. But I think once he got the strikeout to Zobrist, to your point, that calmed him. And then he got Hayward, and that sort of set him free a little bit, so to speak. And then from there, he really pitched well. You know, he was composed and, you know, really pumping strikes, locating the fastball, landing the hook, and then mixed in a couple changeups. So it was really, really well pitched in a day where, as you guys know, the wind was blowing out. You know, I've been here enough in these conditions to know what type of games can happen here. And Jeff didn't let it happen. Either did the rest of our bullpen.
Buddy, what's the biggest difference you've seen between Jeff Hoffman that we saw in parts of spring training to now?
A number of things, Patrick. I don't know if there's one big thing, right? I mean, this is a combination of a lot of things that we talked about in spring training, and it started, you know, with Steve and Darren, you know, on the mechanics side, you know, through spring training. You know, quite a change in what he was doing from the stretch, shortening the leg kick to almost a little bit of a quicker slide, and then, you know, getting the arm out of the glove. I don't want to get super technical here, but, you know, there was some mechanical changes that had to take place for him to control the running game and for him to repeat his arm slot and arm action and release point that Steve and Darren and Jeff worked really hard on. And he was doing that through spring training when he's trying to compete for a job. And that's unfair, you know, because we knew that he had to make these changes. And also with that, you know, his, competitive fire to make the team, and, you know, maybe the results in spring not going well, you know, there were some issues there with, you know, wanting to make the team and making changes that, you know, mentally I don't think he was in the right spot. And from our conversation late in spring, man, he's really made some nice changes, and in an all-around way that I'm very proud of him, and it showed up in his performance here. So mechanics, I think composure, I think there's a calmness and confidence. You know, the way he's throwing obviously will help that, but he's in a good spot.
Even when he wasn't quite there in spring training, did you sit back and look at the arm and everything and say, "Wait, this is possible"?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think with all these guys, you know, that was the thing that stood out for me when we saw the young pitching. And, you know, we go farther down the line too to, you know, Castellani and Almonte and Musgrave and Karis City and other guys and Diaz and, you know, some guys with big arms who are in the minor leagues that we think will sometimes be, you know, productive Rockies. But, you know, Jeff was in that group that was, you know, in the mix to make our team with Freeland and Marquez and Sensatella. So, and he's just, you know, he's growing. You know, as you guys see it, you see it every day just like I do. These guys are growing before our eyes, and it's good stuff, and it's great to see. It's fun. It's exciting for the team and the guys, and it's great. You know, these guys are starting their careers, and, you know, there's going to be bumps in the road, but, you know, these guys are handling it.
Obviously, how about the home runs that you've been getting this series? They've been coming from different guys, and in spite of the wind or not, it seems like, you know, these haven't been wind-blown home runs.
Yeah, I think the two today were, I mean, really well struck. Charlie's was well hit. Mark's was crushed. I mean, you know, if the wind was blowing the other way, I think they both would have went out. Obviously, those balls were well hit. Charlie's having a good series. Mark had a big day today. A lot of contributors today. We had 14 hits. You know, Tapia chipped in for a couple. I think everybody got a hit, right?
All the starters.
All the starters got a knock. So that's, you know, spreading it around. Team win. Good bullpen day as well. So a couple big outs there in the middle with Qualls and Dunn in a 4-1 game with the wind blowing out in the middle of their order. Good stuff. McGee, top of their order. Schwarber, and, you know, then you know, through Bryant and Rizzo and Zobrist. So yeah, good game.
How big was it for Jeff to get you into the 7th inning a day after you used bullpen for 6 innings?
Well, you know, our bullpen still was pretty good today, Thomas. I think, you know, we still feel good about our guys. You know, we like the depth of our pen with 8 guys, and that's what most teams are doing now anyway, 8-man pens. And you ration it out a little bit based on who's available, but, you know, Jeff did his job. Pitching into the 7th inning, we talk about that all the time. You know, our guys are aware, our starters are aware of the expectation. Jeff's on board.
Mark Reynolds.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mark Reynolds has always been a big power guy, but he's hitting
Right.
for average this year and
Yeah.
producing runs. Is he doing anything differently now?
Well, again, I'm going to repeat myself to Patrick and Mark and Thomas and Abby and Warren and the guys who've been around. I think there was a change, and Mark will talk about it. You know, when he went to St. Louis a number of years ago, you know, sort of as a backup player, pinch hitter, and he sort of changed his approach. You know, sort of gradually to a guy that at one time, the early years in Arizona was, you know, all or nothing to a certain extent, but you know, he learned in a pinch hitting role with the Cardinals to shorten up, put the ball in play. He's got bat control for a guy with a big, powerful swing. You know, he knows what he's doing, and I think that was sort of the moment that it crystallized for him. That, you know, he sort of changed the approach and became a guy that, you know, can hit the ball to right field. You saw a couple today, can get a base hit with 2 outs with a guy in scoring position. You know, it's not a big swing. He can shorten up. You know, he can make contact. So, really good. Good for Mark.
He tied Gorman Thomas, Brooks Robinson, and Joe Morgan on the all-time home run list today. So that, just so you know that.
Well,
those are good names.
Who were those again?
Brooks Robinson, Joe Morgan, Gorman Thomas.
Okay. Well, I don't think I gave up one to Joe. No, I don't think I gave up one to Brooks. But I gave up one to Gorman, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I think I gave up one to Joe, maybe. So, good for Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, those are great names.